Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on Paramount Plus that has Kool-Aid running through its veins. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge All-Stars episode 6, and let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Alton and Aneesa winning the first double elimination of the season and coming back to the house. Everyone is trying to figure out how to wrap their head around and what their new strategy is for this new twist that TJ has dropped in their lap. Jonna and Katie are talking about maybe using their past elimination history, or when it comes down to the voting and deliberation, they could say like, hey, if you don't want to be put into elimination, hey, I might pick you, so don't vote me in, or don't let everybody vote me in. This is nerve-wracking for me because I love Jonna and Katie, and this is like triple the screen time that Jonna has gotten throughout this whole competition and this whole season, that it makes me worry that we might see her going into the elimination this episode, or we might see Katie and Jonna going into the elimination against each other, which I would hate to see that happen. We also get a little cuddle session between Latyrian and Aneesa. They're liking and enjoying each other's company, and it worries me because I like all four of these competitors, and if any of them are going into the elimination, I just pray that they could come back. But before we get into the elimination for this episode, we have to get to the daily challenge. And this week's daily challenge is back to a body of water, and it is called Escape the Room. And in this daily challenge, they're going to be playing in teams of 4, and what they're going to have to do is stand inside this container, and they're going to have to stand on trap doors next to a puzzle station. There are 4 puzzle stations to each container, so everybody on the team gets a puzzle station, and you're gonna have to try to solve this puzzle before your trapdoor opens and drops you into the water. At different time intervals, these trapdoors will open, and these trapdoors are gonna open from left to right. The team that can solve the most puzzles the quickest will win this daily challenge, and whoever is the team captains for the winning team will win safety and will not be going into the elimination, whereas the team who is the most losingest, that's right, the most losingest out of every other team, their team captains will be going directly into the elimination this episode. Now let's go over the teams and who's captains on those teams. We have the gold team made up of Ruthie, Big Easy, Jonna, and Latyrian, where Ruthie and Big Easy are the team captains. For the silver team, we have Hizela, Alton, Kellyanne, and Darrell, where Kellyanne and Darrell are the team captains. Copper team, we have Katie and Yes, Aneesa and Derrick. Katie and Yes are the team captains for that team. And for the black team, we have Mark, Kendall, Nehemiah, and Jemmy, where Mark and Kendall are the team captains. Katie volunteered to be the team captain for her team because it's height over water. She is worried about this daily challenge, and if she just clams up, she wants to take full responsibility and doesn't want a lot of backlash from her team. So she would rather step up, be the team captain. If she cannot perform, then she has to face the consequences, and if that's going into the elimination, then so be it. Let's get to Heat 1, where we have the gold team versus the silver team, and right off the bat, Darrell's leg is shaking from the very beginning, but he is doing this puzzle. He is on the very far right. Both teams' team captains are on the very far right because their game is on the line and they want to have the best shot to get these puzzles completed, but these puzzles are all types of crazy. They have a whole bunch of lines, they have different shades of the colors, they have a letter in the middle of them. We have a lot going on with these puzzles, and at first Jonna is trying to figure out how to do this puzzle, but by the time she looks over, figures out what she needs to do and what it's supposed to look like, she falls right through. Jonna and Alton are the first two to fall into this water, and I love the reactions of players when people are just falling through the trapdoor. Like Hizela literally jumps and then she just like freezes up, but she also looks at her puzzle. She feels like she has it down 100%, so she is just waiting for the inevitable fall. Big Easy gets this puzzle rather quickly. He is killer on these puzzles. Latyrian has his R sideways, but by the time he's trying to like flip it over, he falls through to the water. And now Ruthie is getting help from Big Easy. Darrell feels like he has his puzzle down and he is just standing there with his hand on his nose and his other hand protecting his jewels, as he said in the aftermath, and he is waiting for the inevitable fall. And I can't tell you how scared I would be at just like waiting for the trapdoor. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So by the time these trapdoors open, he's ready, but also you're not ready at the same time because it's just like the anticipation is killer. Heat 1 is down and everybody is feeling confident about their puzzles, especially Hizela, who feels like she has this on lockdown. Then we go into Heat 2, where we have the Copper team going against the Black team, and Katie is all types of nervous. She flips over her puzzle pieces, but just the feeling that she is going to just drop, and she is on the left-hand most station. So she is going to drop first, and she feels like it's going to be instant. She just wants to have a controlled fall after how much struggle she's had in these daily challenges over water. So she is just like standing there waiting and hoping that the rest of her team can pick up the slack, and she is the first one to fall through, along with Mark, who just had no idea how to do this puzzle whatsoever. We have Yes pretty much done. He feels very confident. He tries to help out Anissa, and they get done at roughly the same time, but as he's sitting there staring, waiting to be dropped through these trap doors, he's starting to second guess himself, and he is thinking, once he's down at the ground level, he is thinking, did I really get it down right, or is there some pieces that were messed up here and there? We have Anissa and Nehemiah who drop through the floor, but Nehemiah is also second guessing himself. Kendall, looking at her puzzle, knows that her puzzle is upside down, but she is hoping that the Challenge All-Star producers will just give her the thumbs up, that she has everything completely correct, that she will get the thumbs up. And you know what? I understand where she's coming from. She's worried about trying to flip this puzzle over and in the middle of it dropping through, and she's gonna get it wrong no matter what. At least she has a shot maybe here if she keeps it all intact and it's just upside down, and maybe they'll be like, you know what, she got it completely correct. It's just upside down. She leaves it and she drops through the water, and at the results, TJ says that there's only one person that got the puzzle 100% correct, and that was not Kendall. It was Big Easy. Big Easy is the only person to get this puzzle correct 100%. He wins it for his team, meaning Ruthie and Big Easy lock up the win. They get safety, and the loser team, where their captains are going directly into the elimination, is the Black team, meaning Mark and Kendall are going straight into the elimination, and then the rest of the house are gonna have to go back to the house, go to Deliberation, and vote in one woman into the elimination, and then at the elimination, she is going to be able to pick one man to be her partner in the elimination, in this double elimination. Now back to the house. That's where Jemmy, Kendall, Mark, and Nehemiah are all back in the backyard having a meeting, and they're trying to figure out who to push the vote on. And Mark says he's good to go up against any guy, and it's really up to Kendall on who she feels comfortable with going into the elimination against. And Kendall lists off a whole bunch of names to where there's only 2 people left as options to being voted into the elimination, and that is Hizela and Katie. And so with that in mind, everybody goes to the deliberation and the nomination ceremony, where Katie volunteers herself to go into the elimination. She says that it's not fair for everyone who actually tried in the puzzle today to be going into the elimination, and that she didn't even try. She just stood there with her hands on her jacket, and she should be going into the elimination. And Kellyanne says, I get that, but you also hold in somebody else's fate in your hands. And so the guys should speak up and say that if they want Katie to go into the elimination, or if they have a different idea on who they want to vote in to the elimination this episode. And they decide to take it to a vote, and it's unanimous vote for Katie. Katie wants to go in. Nobody wants to disrupt that, so they all vote Katie. Katie is going to be the one going into the elimination, and then they go out on the town where Yes made her a crown, and so she is Queen Katie for the night. She gets all the power to figure out who she wants to bring into the elimination to be her partner for this episode. And this is where everybody is like faking injuries, and they're putting, like, Derrick put a bandage around his head, put some like ketchup or something on the bandage to make it seem like he got really hurt in the daily challenge, and that he's not a good partner for Katie to pick for this elimination. The same thing with Yes. Nehemiah said he had an eye twitch. It was rather funny, but in the behind the scenes, in the aftermath, Derrick did go up to Katie and say that, hey, if you really want to pick me for this elimination, I'll give you 110%. Pick me for it. Now, Katie doesn't want to pick a friend to go into the elimination because that's jeopardizing her friend's chances at getting $500,000, and she doesn't want to have all that pressure on her. But everybody is feeling scared to go up against Mark. They're scared to go into the elimination. And that's when we go back to Katie, and Laterian is talking to Katie going like, look, if you want to pick me, pick me. If you pick me, I'll unleash the dogs and we'll send Kendall and Mark home. Then we go back to the house for the next morning where we have Mark and Kendall doing some bonding yoga session with each other, and they're getting on the same page. They feel more confident with each other after having this talk and this bonding session. Then we move over to Katie, who's talking about her top 2 picks, where it's between Yes and Latyrian for her. Anissa is a little worried about that because Latyrian and her are getting rather close, and she doesn't want to see Latyrian go. But Katie is going back and forth between Yes and Latyrian as we move into this week's elimination, where everybody's coming in and they see this like long rope and a couple of stumps. Now at the arena, TJ tells Mark, Kendall, and Katie to come down and join him on the elimination floor, and Katie has to make a big decision on who she wants her partner to be. She chooses Latyrian, and so we have Mark and Kendall going up against Katie and Latyrian in the pull me over elimination, which is very much similar to the elimination in War of the Worlds season 33 Tug of War, where Devon won, and also in War of the Worlds 2, where Josh and Jordan faced off against each other in the end of my rope elimination, where there's a long rope with a lot of slack. You have to pull it to get all the slack out, and then somehow you're going to try to get your opponent off their stump or to drop their rope. The first team to 2 points wins this elimination, and how you get a point is if both your partner and you get a win in the same round. You will get 1 point. So the first team to 2 points wins. In round 1, they're going, Katie and Mark and everybody is giving all they've got, and then all of a sudden, Kendall drops the rope. I think she lost focus for a split second, and she drops her rope, getting Katie her point. Now, Latyrian needs to win this to get a point for their team and go up 1-0, and that would be huge swing of momentum, which Latyrian does. Mark drops his rope. Latyrian and Katie are pulling for an upset, which Hizella is really wishing that Kendall would leave this house. Not so much Mark, but definitely wants Kendall to leave this game. So Katie and Latyrian go up 1-0 after round 1. Now it's round 2, and it's do or die for Mark and Kendall. They need to win at all costs with this. So at first, everybody's doing their thing, pulling on this rope, and Mark actually gets Latyrian as Latyrian is like gonna give a good tug. That's when Mark like loosens his grip. Latyrian gets so much rope and his momentum carries him off the stump. He falls off this stump, and Katie decides to just let the rope go, trying to conserve her energy for round 3. Now we have round 3. This is it. If one team can get both their partners to win, that is it. That team is going to stay in this game. And in round 3, Katie is hurting, and she actually loses focus. She drops her rope. She instantly knows that it was like a mistake, and she tried to pick it back up, but she knows she lost focus, and she drops her rope. Now it's all on Mark. If he can get this point, then him and Kendall stay in this game and win this elimination. Mark is just persistent as he is just pulling this rope, and Latyrian is like giving it all he's got. He's trying to hold on, but he is just losing more and more slack as time is going on, and he is finally at the end of his rope, literally, and he drops this rope, meaning Mark and Kendall win this elimination. And let me tell you right now, this was way more than brute strength, as in the aftermath, they were talking about it. This elimination went for over an hour and a half. That is incredible. I'm sure they were exhausted. Their arms that couldn't grasp anything. Their forearms were dead. Their biceps were dead. Their legs were dead. Katie was saying that she was trying to stay low to the ground and like crouch a little bit, which like will absolutely destroy your legs. I think this was like a hard fought battle. This was such a good elimination round, but alas, Mark and Kendall were too much for Katie and Latyrian, and I'm sad to say that Katie and Latyrian played a great game so far, but they just could not get it done this elimination, and so they were eliminated from the game. They're heading out back home, and Mark and Kendall get to stay in this game. Kendall winning her second elimination of the season. She is a powerhouse, and Hizella is definitely one to hate to see Kendall coming back into this game. But that is it for this episode. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What did you think about this week's daily challenge? What did you think about Big Easy being the only person to complete this puzzle? What'd you think about the Katie volunteering herself and the elimination? I really enjoyed this elimination. This elimination was great. First of all, the game was great, but the matchups were amazing and perfect. I think everybody was evenly matched. But what did you think about it? Let me know that in the comment section below. Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.